Law enforcement, okay, it has quite a few different aspects of it. You got, of course, your sheriff departments. You got your local agencies like the police department, which I work for. You also have state level, which would be maybe highway patrol or something like that. But it also expands to national levels, basically FBI or the DEA, or which the DEA would be Drug Enforcement Agency. FBI would be Federal Bureau of Investigations. So it expands all these different agencies, and we all work together to enforce law. Law enforcement uses probably English more than any other subject we use in high school. Reason being, we do a lot of report writings, and you have to be very articulate of what you're writing in your reports, because you never know that your report may be on national news one day dealing with a case, or it may come up 30 years from now dealing with the case. So it's very important that you use good grammar and are able to articulate the words that you're speaking in your report. Someone who wasn't there could read your report and understand what exactly took place.
Well, as a high school student, I think you're preparing yourself now. I want to certainly get away from the fact that this is what you need to go into or this is what you need to do, because what you're doing today is very relevant to what you're going to become, regardless if it's law enforcement or whatever. But in law enforcement, your education is going to be vitally important because you're going to use all of it. There's many parts of school that I can remember that I sat back and said, I will never use any of that. And I use every bit of it. Whether it be calculus, whether it be algebra, whether it be trigonometry, whether it be chemistry, it's all incorporated in some way. And so the part that you're playing now in life in your education is so important because it's molding you into whatever you want to become. And law enforcement is something that's a very wide skill in everything that you have, in your knowledge, your education. So, it's important to what you're doing now.
People skills, knowing how to talk to people, understanding that everybody's not the same, and just kind of have a good rounded head how you're dealing with people and how you talk to them, communicate. I think approaching whatever you do in life, approaching with a good attitude and a pure heart will take you a lot further than what you realize. After high school, teenagers are going to be slightly too young to become a police officer, but during that transition till they get to the age of 21 where they are actually eligible, those students we either work at maybe a correction facility like a jail or something. That minimum requirement is 18 years old, not 21. So that gives people a little bit of exposure to law enforcement, so they can kind of see all the inner workings of how things flow and kind of decide, hey, is this for me? And once they decide, hey, yeah, this is for me, just about every agency, every state is going to have you attend some kind of police academy. And during that academy, there's extensive training. You're there from anywhere from 10 to 22 weeks, depending on what agency you work with. And all that training you will utilize while you're in the street and while you're out dealing with the public.
When you're looking into salary as a high school student, I understand that's important. Money is important. What does it pay? And that's a very valid question to have. And in law enforcement, it's going to be based a lot upon your experience, your education. The more education you have, the probability of you making more money is going to be greater, and the opportunity to even be hired. But it's according to what you want to go into. You can start in a very basic field of law enforcement, and that would probably be in detention, something that I would hire you for as far as being a detention officer. And you're going to make somewhere between $25,000 and $30,000 a year. Again, as far as salary, you can go to the top where you're looking at some federal job or whatever, and you could make a little bit over $100,000 a year. So it's a pretty broad range. We certainly need you. Unfortunately, with the times that we're facing today, it's very hard to find and recruit individuals that want to get into law enforcement because a lot of times the pay may be something that's not very attractive. The hours are not very attractive. The stress that you're under is not very attractive, but you get into it because it's what you want to do. And most of the people that I hire and deal with knew that they wanted to do this at a very young age, possibly at the age that you're at right now. And so the people that we're looking for are people that are very compassionate, people that are caring, people that want to give of their time and want to make a difference in their community. And we have a lot of those people here in our area, and that's why we're trying to recruit local people that know their community, that know the people, that can get out and truly make a difference.
Technology is probably the number one growth that we see in law enforcement. Laws have to take time to catch up with technology a lot of times, but we also implement technology in our investigations, whether it be computer crimes or cyber crimes such as stalking or sending messages through different apps and things like that source. GPS tracking, using drones, all these different technologies that everybody uses every day have a huge role in law enforcement today. I love people, and in that I love to see people happy, safe, protected, and just enjoying life. And the ability to be a part of that is rewarding to myself.
A law enforcement officer just wants to make the situation better by the decision that they make, whether it be helping someone physically, saving someone's life, or just giving some advice or spending some time with a child. Our job is to try to make society a better place. And that's my rewarding experience, is when I know that I can go home at night and I have accomplished that through whoever I've come in contact with that day, is that I've just made it a better day for them.